Right. Right, everyone. So we will start the session. Good afternoon. Today we are taking our
Good afternoon,
yes. Today we are taking our third session. Yeah. No, fourth. Today is our fourth session. So far we did introduction, and then we did about job analysis and job design. Job analysis and job design we did. And then last time we did recruitment and selection. And today we are taking learning and development. Right? Today we are taking learning and development. Right. In our lesson today, what we are trying to do mainly uh, uh, three things. Right? Three things. The first is the conceptual understanding, right? The conceptual understanding of learning, development, training, the basics things. And then I'll be talking about some learning strategies. I'll be talking about some learning strategies, right? And then the most importantly, the last part, which is the value adding part, learning strategy design. How do you design a particular learning initiative or learning strategy? So that will be also discussed at the end, right? So that will be the main one, right? So those are the three things that we are going to learn today. Right. We will start with conceptual understanding, right? Now, when you look at this learning, right? Learning as a function, right? Learning as a function, right? It's a practice, right? It can be considered as a function, and also it can be considered as a practice uh, in organization, right? When you look at this as a function or practice, we can look at it from the organizational perspective. From the organizational perspective, we can look at learning and development, right? And also we can look at it from the employee, the staff perspective, right? The staff perspective, right? Both the perspective we can look at this nice concept of learning and development, right? But then now, first, when you look at learning from the organizational perspective, right? From the organizational perspective, these you can see uh, in organizations, right? So in organizations, the biggest budget, right? So what is the HRM, the biggest budget? What is the biggest budget of HRM? I mean, the biggest cost of HRM is what? The organizational biggest cost? Hmm?
That's the training.
No, not for training.
They are salaries.
Salary. Yes, rewards. Right? Rewards is the biggest budget. It may be for entire organization, not only HRM. The salary, the rewards will be the biggest budget, right? And learning and development represents second biggest budget, so that you can see as an amount the learning and development also significant because we are spending money on it. Right. Now, when you really look at the spending part of learning and development, earlier at the very beginning, the history in management, right? We we
Excuse
consider,
me, ma'am.
yes, Kushani.
Can't we get the training for the training and development? We have to pay some amount for them now, ma'am.
For whom, Baba? Yes, Kushani.
Yeah, ma'am. Cost of HRM.
Yeah, because HRM is incurring the cost because we are spending on training and development.
Yeah, is it also a cost now, ma'am?
Yeah, it is a cost. I mean, budget means our allocation, right?
Allocation.
From your income, what sort of budget you have allocated for training and development. You get it? You get it?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Right. Now, when it's come to the budgeting purpose, well, budgeting perspective, you know, earlier at the very beginning, now training was entirely organizational responsibility. Right? We go with empty hand. The farmers who worked in paddy fields or farms, they just went to work in these mass production factories with empty hands, unskilled, nothing. Then organization or the management took the responsibility of training them. Right? The entire responsibility is with the management. Right? Now, what happened was they had to spend a lot of money on training these employees and give them the basic skills, right? At that time, training was considered as a cost because they spend a lot and it's entirely organizational responsibility. So that's why we consider training and development as a cost. However, today, this concept has been changed. Now we think learning and development as an yes. Now we don't think it as a cost. Now we think it as an
Investment.
investment, right? Why we consider it as an investment? Because it is proved that the outcome, the output, the impact of the training that we are providing is always bigger than the cost that we are incurring, right? For example, I'll tell, now you are getting very bad customer complaints over your product quality, right? Then you spent on some few millions, right, on staff training in maintaining your quality, right? Then you are building up your trust, right? So that more customers are attracting and you can retain your existing customers as well. So the impact is more powerful, or the net benefit of this impact is always positive compared to the cost that we are incurring, right? So therefore, we consider learning and development is going through a revolution where our thinking from cost perspective to investment perspective, we have changed our mindset, right? Now today, in contemporary organization, we never consider learning and development as a cost, right? We never consider learning and development as a cost. We consider it as an investment, and their net benefit is always positive, right? Their net benefit is always positive, right? Okay. And also put there, when it's come to learning and development, there are separate professional categories. Even in your organizations, you can see there are learning and development managers, there are learning and development executives, there are different team members. So therefore, it is a recognized function, right? There are separate professionals are there for this particular function. And also we believe in human capital, means that we as individuals, we can develop ourselves unlimitedly. We never know what is our abilities are. We never know what is our scope is. We can push our scopes, unlimitedly, and it is continuous, right? We can continuously push our limits. So therefore, In human capital, we believe individuals are able to push their limits unlimitedly through learning and development or through education. So therefore, believing in that concept, we offer learning and development for employees with the expectation that they will continuously upgrade their skills, right? So that's from the organizational perspective, right? Then, when you look at this learning and development from the individual perspective, right? From the individual perspective, Pute, at the beginning, the responsibility of training was entirely in the organization. The organization is responsible for providing the necessary training, right? But in 1950s, this has been changed and it became a dual responsibility. You know, myself as an employee and the organization also, they both shared the responsibility, right? They had a shared responsibility of learning, right? For example, the learning readiness is coming from the candidate. Even though the company is providing the programs, sometimes the learner may not be ready. So that is the both dual role or shared role, right? Now, Pute, today, what has happened? It has become predominantly an individual function. We are responsible. The own responsibilities are increasing, right? So like you all are doing this MBS, right? Because it's you decide, you determine, and you took a decision that it's my own responsibility, right? And what the organization is doing then? They are facilitating you. They are making the opportunities available. If you can come with the MBS, there are promotion opportunities available. It is you who should capitalize it. It is you who should capitalize it. So likewise, the responsibility of learning is predominantly with the employee today, and the organizations are making the opportunities available. There may be mentoring program, there may be coaching program, there may be role plays, there may be case studies, there may be storytelling or whatever, right? The individual is responsible on how do you use these opportunities available. These opportunities available. I think a big yeah, so that, okay, right? So that we call it employee-led training, right? Employee-led training. So that I discussed the things like this. I told we can look at the learning from two perspectives. One is individual perspective, the other one is organizational perspective. When you look at the organizational perspective, the first thing is it's going through a revolution where we switch from cost perspective to investment perspective. Number two, there's a considerable budget we are spending on learning and development. Number three, learning and development is special subcategory of human resource management. And we believe in human capital in training and development, right? These are the four things from the organizational perspective, right? From the individual perspective, right? So what happened? It is employee, the particular individual has been prioritized, and therefore we have employee-led learning and development. An employee is having more responsibility while the organization is facilitating employee learning and development, right? So that we as individuals, we have our own responsibility to keep ourselves updated, right? Maybe our subject knowledge, maybe our network, maybe our capabilities, maybe our skills, maybe our languages. So it's our own responsibility end of the day, right? So that's it. Okay, then I come to the other level, to know what do you really mean by learning, development, and training. So we will start with training, right? So what do you mean by training? I use different words, right? Sometimes I use training, sometimes I use learning. Yeah, like that. We should know what is the exact meaning of it. Okay. Get a table like this. Quickly answer these 4 questions. What training is? Why do we want training? When do we do training? To whom we provide training? Right. Quickly answer these 4 simple questions in a very specific, very simple, very short answers.
Process of developing skills.
Okay. Right. So what do you mean by training? Yes.
A system of educating employees within company.
Process of improving current job skills. Yeah. Yeah. Educating the employees, right? Is it?
Educating
Process of
employees.
learning.
Process of learning. Right? Yes, Buddha. Amali. Yes.
System of educating employees.
System of educating. Education is a very broad one, Putte. Very broad. Education, very broad. It's a formal. School karan education. University ke athule karan education. Process of developing skills and knowledge. Okay. Now, Putte, here what we are focusing is when you call training, there is a particular focus we have. Right? So when you call education, there is a boundaryless. So it's a very open concept, very broad. Right? Training is very specific. Remember that, huh? Training is specific. I like this one because it's a process. We improve the skills of the current job role, employees' current job. Our focus is, remember, employees' current job. What you are doing right now. Improving the current job role of the employee, right? Role of the employee and fix the performance problems. Make them a problem, a focus, right? So address the process of addressing the performance problems of current job role. A current job role, right? And then to whom we are giving the training? To whom we are giving the training? To whom we are giving the training?
Employees.
Everyone? Everyone? Non-manager, එහෙම වෙන්න ඕනේ නැහැ පුතේ. ඕන කෙනෙක් train කරන්න පුළුවන්. Manager වෙන්න පුළුවන්. Non-manager වෙන්න පුළුවන්. දැන් මේක බලලා කියන්න what කියන එක බලලා මට කියන්න. To whom we are giving the training? Huh? Those who are having performance
Less performance.
gaps in the current job. When you have a performance gap or expectation gap, ඔයාට බැයි නම් ඔයාට අලුත් දෙයක් නම් කරන්න තියෙන්නේ. current job role එක කරගන්න බැයි නම් තමයි මේ training දෙන්නේ. Right? So gaps in the current job role. Current job. Do you get it? Right? So everyone who are having performance gaps in the current job role. For example, හිතන්නකෝ මම දැන් ඔක්කොම traditional classes වල ගන්න ඉන්නවා මේ campus එකේ. මම කවදාවත් online lecture එකක් කළා නැහැ. හැබැයි මම දාන online lecture එක teacher කෙනෙක් විදියට. එතකොට දැන් මගේ lecture කියන්නේ මගේ current job role එක, lecturing කියන්නේ මම කරන වැඩේ. හැබැයි මම online එකේ උගන්වන්න මම දන්නේ නැහැ. So performance gap එක. Expectation gap එක. Right? So that they are giving me the skills to meet my requirement in my current job. Right? Okay. Now, think about in a factory, right? They introduce a new machine. Sir, they introduce a new machine. I don't know how to operate this one. So that it affects my current job. So that they are giving me a training on how to operate the new machine. Right? And I am not performing my KPIs. Right? I never be able to meet my KPIs. So that I am underperforming. Right? So in such situation, what we do is providing training to fix the performance gaps in your current role. Right? In your current role. Whenever the organization address performance problems. Performance problems. Right. So why? Now පොඩ්ඩක් හිතලා බලන්න මේක කියන්න මට why?
Improving job performance.
Performing tasks, current job or new job.
Bhagya. To improve the current job role, okay. Why do you want to improve the current job role? Why?
To
Prashant.
achieve the goal efficiently and
Performance?
effectively.
To achieve the goal. Okay. What is the goal? What is the goal?
Organizational goal.
මොකක්ද performance කියන්නේ? මොකක්ද organization performance එක?
To do
What
the
do you mean?
particular work.
Okay, work. So that work is your goal. So what is organization goal?
Achieving their target.
What is target? What is their target?
Performance well.
So what is the performance?
Creating
a better workflow.
Profit, I got a word, right? So now when there are performance problems, right? When there are performance problems, it affects your revenue, right? It affects your revenue, right? For example, let's say your monthly target is 1 million sales, right? You are underperforming. You're currently making only 6 million. So you are underperforming so that it affects your total revenue, right? And you are making defect products. You are making defect products. So your revenue is going to be affected. And you don't know how to go with online option so that you are losing your business. It affects your income, the revenue, right? So likewise, every performance problem, right? For example, let's say you are getting customer complaints, so that it affect your revenue. It affects your revenue. So likewise, every performance gap, every performance deficiency, every expectation issues are directly influencing the profit making ability of the organization or revenue generation process of the organization, right? So we are providing the training initiatives to employees who are not performing up to the standards because it affects our revenue, the revenue of the organization, right? To safeguard, to ensure the revenue or profit, to ensure the revenue or profit, right? Ma'am, is training and development go together? No. Development is different. We are discussing development next, right? So that's it, right? So now look at this. Training is a process where we address the performance gaps in the current job role. And it's providing those who are having the performance gaps. And whenever there is a performance gap addressed, we provide the training. And the purpose is to safeguard the revenue generation process, right? To safeguard the revenue generation process, right? The liyan බලන්න own definition එක. Own definition, right? Combine these answers and you write your own definition, right? So combine these answers and you write your own definition. Right. අපි යමු development එකට දැන්. Right. Development. Right. Development. So take the same table. I'll take the same table. Right. Development එක පුතේ. It's very logical. හරි. Process of improving the skills for employee future job roles. Development is about employees' future job roles, not the current job role. Right? Employee future job role. So what the employee's future is. So in future, what this employee is going to do, right? So if we are getting employees ready for the future, that's we call development, right? So do we provide development? To whom we are providing the development? To whom we are providing the development? Getting employees ready for the future job roles? To whom? To whom? To whom? Everyone? Yes, Kushani? Everyone?
Yes, ma'am.
No, not everyone. Then anyone? So tell me any answers. It is not everyone. Then who?
To beginners or
All the
trainers.
employees.
Beginners?
Not the beginners.
All the employees are.
No, not all the employees. No,
Is it only for managerial level employees? Like,
no, not on the managerial level either. Yeah. Future jobs වලට ready කරන්න කොයි වගේ අයද පුතේ? හැමෝම. Future jobs වල අපි groom කරන්නේ කාවද? Groom කරන්නේ ඔක්කොලා.
Senior levels employees are.
Not පුතේ, no.
Specially identified.
Yeah. Only the Star performance. Star performance. Star performance.
Start performance means,
Yeah.
ma'am, beginner.
Sorry. Star. Star performance. High performing. High performing worker. High performing individual. Star performance. Excellent employees. Excellent performance. High performance, yes. High potential. Oh, of course, high potential employees. Yeah. High potential. Only even potential is enough. Potential employees. Not everyone පුතේ. Potential අය විතරයි අපි develop කරන්න. මේක ඇවිල්ලා මේ වගේ. දැන් අපි හිතමු අපි finance unit එක කියලා. Finance unit එකේ CFO, Chief Finance Officer තමයි ඒකේ ලොක්කා. මේ ලොක්කා retire වෙනවා නම් මේ ලොක්කා transfer වෙනවා නම් මේ ලොක්කා වෙන company එකට යනවා නම් අපිට develop කරන්න ඕන next level එක. We have to develop the next level. Right? We have to groom a person. That is we call development. So we have to identify the staff performance who we can develop to take up these responsibilities. Very important, right? So that we are developing these potential employees to take over the future leadership positions. Future leadership positions. Right? So that is development, right? Whenever we see a potential employee කෙනෙක් ආව ගම අපි ටක් ගාලා මෙයාව අපේ succession planning මේක succession plan. Whenever we see a potential employee, right? So why පුතේ? Why do we need development or succession planning?
Future development or future function.
Yeah. Right. So we need to ensure the leadership pipeline. අපි එකට කියනවා lead මේ වචනේ හොඳට මතක තියාගන්න. Leadership pipeline of the organization, of the firm. Right. Leadership pipeline එකක් තියෙනවනේ හැම VIP position එකටම. For VIP positions. Right. CFO, CTO, CBO, right? So likewise, every VIP position, there should be a leadership pipeline, right? So I will tell you a story. You know Hemas, right? Who is the group CEO of Hemas? Hemas Holdings?
Kasturi.
She used to be, yeah. Now Pute Kasturi became the first lady group CEO for Hemas couple of years back. She was successfully doing this role. And then she announced her resignation. Last 2023, she announced her resignation from January 2024. This year beginning. May අවුරුද්දේ මුල ඉඳන් යා හේමාස් එකෙන් අයින් වෙනවා කියලා යා announce කරා. Afterwards, she would be accepting a new position in one of the Singaporean company. දැන් මෙයා මෙහෙම කිව්වා. හැබැයි හේමාස් එකට තාම නෑ මේ position එක fill කරන්න next in line එක නෑ. ඒගොල්ලෝගේ second readiness එකක් නෑ. තාම නෑ. They didn't have. They were trying to see a person from inside. ඒගොල්ලෝ තව ගොඩක් group of companies තියෙනවනේ. ඒ එකකවත් මේකට ready කෙනෙක් හිටියේ නෑ. There's no one ready. That's your failure. You are failure. The company is failing in development. Right? Then, Madhushan, do you want to tell anything? Madhushan? Okay.
No, madam.
Okay, no problem. And, you know, and the Hemas was looking for outside. Headhunt කරන්නත් බැලුවා. මේ group CEO කෙනෙක් එළියෙන් අරගෙන ඒගොල්ලෝ head hunting attempts උත් ඒගොල්ලෝ fail. Then now they look at this. This is very interesting, right? So Kasturi announced her resignation, and then only Hemas was looking for new CEO. Internally, no one ready. Their development was utter failure. And then they were looking for external. And headhunting approaches were failed. And then alternatively, Kasturi was requested to look after both, right? Look after the role until there was a person appropriate is coming up. Still not. Still not. But Kasturi officially resigned. Right? So, but she is looking after this as well. So now it's a failure for development. Failure for development. Okay. And I'll tell you another story. You know McDonald's, right? So US McDonald's headquarters, right? It's a family business now. And then later become a conglomerate. Franchise, right? And then what happened? This is, I think, before 2010. Before 2010 incident, I'm telling. Very old CEO. Right? Very old CEO. And then retirement again. Right? When the CEO is approaching his retirement, there is 100% ready person. Next in line, well-trained, ready to take up. And once the CEO is resigned, the second in line accepted the position. Then එකනේ retire වුණා. ඊළඟ එකනා ලෑස්ති පිට හිටියේ. මෙයා ready. හරි? ඊට පස්සේ පුතේ මොකද වුනේ? මේ දෙවෙනියට ගත්ත එකනා life threatening cancer එකක් detect කරා. within 6 months. මෙයා දැන් අරගෙන මාස 6ක් විතර යනකොට දැන් ටක් ගාලා cancer එකක් detect කරා. මෙයාට කිව්වා මෙයා මැරෙනවා කියලා. Right? Say now their second in line was also not able to continue. Luckily, right, so their leadership development system is very strong. The third in line was also ready. Right, the third one became the CEO. Right, the third one became the CEO. You know what happened? The third one met with an accident. Right, then fourth one was ready. But fourth one was ready. Right, so then fourth one continued and company survived. Right, there was no impact on the company. So that because there was a leadership pipeline. When one is not ready, another one is ready. Another one is there in the line. Right? If that person is out, there is another one in the line. So likewise, it should be continuous pipeline, like a pipe picking වතුර එනවා වගේ මේ leaders ලා එන්න ඕන කියලා තමයි කියන්නේ. දැන් බලන්නකෝ අපේ ශ්‍රී ලංකන් ක්‍රිකට් ටීම් එක. අර්ජුන අයින් වෙනකොට අර්ජුන කැප්ටන්සි එකෙන් අයින් වෙනකොට අපිට potential leaders ලා කී දෙනෙක් හිටියද? ඔක්කොම ගොඩක් අය රෙඩි හිටියා. අරවින්ද හිටියා, ගුරුසිංහ හිටියා, මෙහෙම ගොඩක් කට්ටිය හිටියා. ඉතින් දිල්ෂාන් අයින් වෙනකොට කී දෙනෙක් හිටියද කියලා? කවුරුත් හිටියේ නැහැ. ඒකනේ අපි හැමතිස්සෙම කැප්ටන් මාරු කරන්නේ. අපේ කැප්ටන්ගේ ටෙනුව එක නිකන් මාස 6යි. මාස 6යි, මාස 2යි, මාස 3යි. ඇයි මේ potential අය නෙමෙයි ඉන්නේ. නිකන් replacement. and randomly අපි දාන්න. ඒතර survive වෙන්න බෑ පොතේ. survive වෙන්න බෑ. මේකට development process එකක් ඕන. We have to groom people and we have to line up people to ready with. So that is we call development. Is it clear to you? Ruchini, what is development? Is it clear to you, Ruchini?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, right. So now you can write your own definition, right? So you can write your own definition of development. So it's about getting the employees ready for the future job roles. And when we do it only for potential employees, whenever we see a potential employees, we start it. And the aim is to ensure the leadership pipeline in the organization. හරි. මේකත් ලියන්න පුළුවන් definition එක. හරි. දැන් අපි යනවා අපේ third concept එකට. Learning. අපි බලනවා learning කියන්නේ මොකක්ද කියලා දැන්. Learning. Learning. Okay? Learning. හරි. Learning තමයි newest concept එක. දැන් training කියන එක වැඩි අපි පාවිච්චි කරා. We don't use the training much. We don't use the training much. We use learning. Learning managers, learning executives, learning resource person. The functions are learning, right? Because this is more making sense, right? Right? You know, when you hear the word learning, there is a one word that should comes to your mind. What is the word? Learning can So what do you mean by
Ma'am, is it changing behavior?
Yeah,
Like-
yeah. Change. Right? Change. Where in behavior? Change in behavior. Making a behavioral change. ඒක තමයි. Making a relatively permanent change in behavior. That's a formal definition. Right? Remember in very general words. Making a change in employee behavior. Right? Right? Process of making a change in employee behavior. Employee behavior. Right? So that's learning. Right? So learning is for everyone. Everyone. Right? Anytime. All the time. Right? So we are, all of us, every one of us is engaging in learning every time, all the time. Okay. Why? Right? Why? To make us able to flexible. To make us able to flexible, in order to, why do you want to be adaptable? In order to
Profit?
කියන්න. Profit නෑ. Profit කරන්න කොහොමද පුරුදේ? How do you take the profit? How do you make the profit?
Get used to job?
How do you make the profit?
By training.
By training.
Is it survival, ma'am?
Survival මත් නෙමෙයි. Survive වෙන්නත් ඕන. ඒ company පැත්තෙන් හිතන්න පුතේ, not the employee පැත්තෙන්. Company perspective එකෙන් ඇයි ඔයගලන් change කරන්නේ employees ලව continuously? ඇයි stable static වෙලා ඉන්න දෙන්නේ නැත්තේ? ඇයි නිකන් employees ලා mercury වගේ කරන්නේ?
To adopt change environment?
ඒක තමයි මං අහන්නේ ඇයි කියලා එහෙම කරන්නේ?
To adapt
Why do you want to adapt the changing environment?
Achieve the organization goals.
Tell me what is the goal?
Profit and earning.
Profit.
How do you earn the profit? How the organizations are earning the profit?
Continual customer satisfaction.
Okay. Customer satisfaction is one example. And anything else? Anything else? Anything else? Huh?
Get employer best effect.
What- නෑ පුතේ. කොහොමද අනිත් companies profit හදන්නේ? මේ all customers අනිත් companies වලට යන්න එපා මගේ එන්න ඕගොල්ලෝ අනිත් products ගන්න එපා මගේ products ගන්න කියලා කියන්නේ කොහොමද? කියලා basic question එක. How do you attract
Giving the
customers
best
to your
service of
company? Okay. අද අපි කියන්නේ ඒකට වචනයක් කියන්නේ. මට හම්බුණා. මට ආවා මේකෙන් පෙරේරා අපිට එව්වා. To sustain the competitive advantage. Competitive advantage පුතේ. Competitive advantage. Competitive advantage. Right. අපිට ගන්න So we earn the profit based on our competitive advantage, right? So best customer service, premium quality, premium service. Those are examples of customer service. Least cost, least price. These are examples of competitive advantage, right? So in order to maintain your competitive advantage, to make the employee continuously change the situations. Right. Does it make sense? Competitive, right? So that's why the learning is provided. That's why the learning learning එහෙම ඔයගොල්ලන්ට learning oriented කරලා තියෙන employees ලව learning oriented කරලා තියෙන්නේ ඔයගොල්ලන්ට ආදරෙට නෙවෙයි අපිට ආදරෙට නෙවෙයි basically අපිට ආදරෙට නෙවෙයි ඒගොල්ලන්ගේ survival strategy, right? The companies are being learning organization, employees, they valued us because there is a benefit for them in order to adjust themselves and stay their competitive advantage, right? So that is learning. Okay, so that's it. So you can develop your own definition for that as well. So I went here. Right, I have so now we have finished the basic understanding, and we come to the learning strategy, right? Learning strategies, right? So you have your definitions and the So we are starting the second section, which is learning strategies. I have given here mainly 3 strategies. Right? These are the main broader categories of learning strategies. You can see skilling, de-skilling, reskilling, and upskilling. Right? Now, I'll first talk about this skilling. Skilling means adding a new skill for your existing skill bundle. What දැනට bundle එකක් තියෙනවා. That existing skill bundle, you are adding a new skill. For example, I don't know how to drive a vehicle, right? So that I learn and I obtain my driver's license. So that I'm skilling, right? I don't know predictive analysis. Data analytics is now trending, no? Right? I don't know predictive analysis. So that I follow a course in predictive analysis and I learn how to do predictive analysis. Okay. So skilling, adding a new skill which I did not know previously. That we call skilling. Right. Reskilling මේකට අමාරුයි මේ process එක. Reskilling අමාරුම එකක්. හරි. මේකෙදී අපි unlearn කරන්න ඕන අපි දන්න ඒවා. දන්න ඒවා unlearn කරලා නොදන්න දෙයක් relearn කරන්න. ඒකට අමාරු process එකක්. දන්න එක unlearn කරන එක තමයි අමාරු. මේක අමාරු. Unlearn කරන්න හරි අමාරු පුතේ. මේකට realization එක. So you need to come to a realization to unlearn. Otherwise very difficult. That's why the resistance comes in. So as example, මේ මට වෙච්ච සිද්ධියක්. මම ඉස්කෝලේ යන කාලේ මම හිතන්නේ මම ළඟ ඊයේ පෙරේද වෙනකම් මං හිතාගෙන හිටියා. So I was thinking මේ ජර්මනියේ මගේ පුතා ඇහුවේ මම grade 6 වලදී වගේ මගේ පුතා මගෙන් ඇහුවා මේ අම්මා do you know මේ Berlin Wall එක දන්නවද කියලා. I said yes, it is in Germany. That is the wall that divide West and East Germany. I told her. What? He said. What? He said. There's nothing to do with West and East Germany and the Berlin Wall. Berlin Wall is somewhere else, right? Then I don't know. That is how I learn in my school. I went to my school. මේ Berlin තාප්පෙන් තමයි මේ ජර්මනිය දෙකට බෙදුනේ කියලා. I remember in that way. I thought it is the true story, right? Then he brought up the map and he showed me the 2 countries that those days, West and East Germany, and then he showed me where the Berlin Wall is. Then I come to a realization, oh, there's nothing to do with Berlin Wall and these 2 countries. Right. So that I unlearn Berlin Wall did not apart these 2 countries and wall is somewhere else. Right? The wall was somewhere else. Right? So that's unlearn and relearn. So I learn the reality. Right? Right. So it can be happen any time of your life. Reskilling. Some of the skills. And so when you are upgrading your, your analytical tools and all, earlier we did something with, let's say PLS, and then I forget about PLS. Now I'm doing SEM. So likewise, some methods. Earlier I was doing it manually. Now I'm doing it with a different way, something like that, right? So you unlearn what you were doing, and you relearn what you really need, right? Reskilling is that. It's difficult. Unlearning process is difficult, right? And then upskilling. is improving a current skill. I know some to certain level, but I am improving my skill level. I am upskilling, improving a current skill in my skill bundle. Right? Improving a current skill in the skill bundle. So that's we call upskilling. Right? So I'll repeat it. Skilling is adding a new skill to your skill bundle. Reskilling is you unlearn a skill and relearn something new. Upskilling is you are improving your current skills, right? And then what is de-skilling? What is de-skilling? What is de-skilling? What is de-skilling? Cool. What is de-skilling? ඔයගොල්ලෝ ඉන්නවනේ. මොකද de-skilling කියන්නේ? ම්? ම්? කවුරුත් නැත්නම් what is de-skilling?
Continuously improvement.
No. Thank you, Rujini. De-skilling කියන්නේ පුතේ kill the skill. Kill a skill. පුළුවන්ද කරන්න? Can you kill a skill? ඒක වෙනවා පුතේ. කරනවා. Organizations එක කරනවා. අපි managers ලා විදිහට ඒක කරනවා වෙන්න පුළුවන්. මේ කවුද කියලා දන්නවද? මේ මෙතන මම පින්තූරයක් දාලා තියෙන්නේ. කියන්න බලන්න ඒ කවුද කියලා. ප්‍රාර්ථනා. Can you guess?
Person who built Taj Mahal. I don't remember the name. The emperor. I just guessed.
Yeah. You know the story. Yeah, that's true, right? So you know the story of Taj Mahal, right? Hmm? What happened to the one the I mean the architect? What Shah Jahan did to the architect? What King Shah Jahan did to the architect?
Blinded him or something.
Yeah, yeah. Mhm. He blinded him. So that is de-skilling. Kill the skill. So Shah Jahan did not want his architect to build similar masterpiece as of Taj Mahal. Right? To avoid it, he made the architect blinded. Right? De-skilling. De-skilling. You kill a skill. Huh? You kill a skill. අපි ස්කූල් එකේ
We tell reduce the skill.
අපතේ
Reduce skills. That means reduce skill.
reduce වෙන්නත් පුළුවන්. Not using වෙන්නත් පුළුවන්. You are not using the skills of your employees වෙන්නත් පුළුවන්. Reduce නම් වෙන්නේ නැහැ නේද? එහෙම reduce කරන්න අමාරුයි. මේක නම් ටිකක් killing එකක්. මේක ටික අමාරු මේක බරපතල එකක්. එයා blind කරානේ නිකන් ඇස් දෙක අන්ධ කරලා දැන්. ආය කරන්න බැරි වෙන්නේ. You get it, Kushani? Huh?
Yes, ma'am. Yes.
Yes, okay. Now පුතේ දැන් හිතන්නකෝ මේ apparel company එක what is the purpose of de-skilling? Yeah, I'm telling it should be avoided. It's negative, right? Not doing purposely, right? It's not doing purposely. That's happened, I mean. It's happened, huh? That's happened. පුතේ මෙහෙම හිතන්නකෝ. apparel company එකක machine operator කෙනෙක් බලන්නකෝ. Hmm? Hmm? මේ ගෑනු ළමයිට නටන්න පුළුවන් නැති. සින්දු කියන්න පුළුවන් නැති. ලොකු ඇනලිටිකල් පවර් එකක් ඇති. ලොකු කොග්නිෂන් එකක් ඇති. හරි ක්‍රියේටිව් අය වෙන්න ඇති. ලස්සන ඩිසයින් ඔලුවට එනවා ඇති. මොකක් හරි මටීරියල් එකක් දැක්කහම මේකට මෙහෙම ඩිසයින් එකක් තිබ්බොත් කියලා අයිඩියාස් එනවා ඇති. මේ වැඩේ මේ විදිහට කරන්න පුළුවන් කියලා හිතෙනවා ඇති. Are they allowed to do those? Hmm?
No, ma'am.
No. Right? They are not allowed to do that. That is an example of de-skilling. Right? I'm telling this is not doing intentionally. Right? De-skilling is not doing intentionally, but it happened. It happened. Right? In the organization. And also, it doesn't say it's always unintentional. Right? There are occasions where intentional de-skilling happen. Intentional de-skilling happen. One example is you are not recommending a potential person for a promotion because of a personal reason. You're not giving a promotion for a potential person. That is a de-skilling. That happened, right? In organization, that happened, right? Not recommending for a promotion due to a fear, due to a insecurity, right? Those are de-skilling. Those are intentional. Those are intentional. Internal politics, right? So that's there, right? That's there. In contemporary organization, there are a lot of de-skilling also taking place. Some are intentional, some are unintentional, right? Some are unintentional, right? Transferring to a location where there's no work, right? So that's happened, right? When you are doing really well, sometimes you may be transferred to a place where there's nothing to work. De-skilling, right? Those are de-skilling, right? So now there was a question. Sevandi, is it okay? That's no actual purpose, right? It should be avoided, but there may be occasions, right? That's not purposely doing, huh? Some are, as a part of internal politics, they are doing it. Right? Do you get it? Sevandi?
Yes, ma'am, I got it. Thank you.
Okay. Right. Yes. Okay, so like for example, you don't want exercise for this, no, right? So you can understand skilling is you're adding a new skill, right? For example, you know Excel, but you don't know SPSS, so you are learning SPSS, right? Reskilling is you unlearn and relearn. So you unlearn some manual process of entering data and you learn the automated system. Yeah. Upskilling is you are improving your current skills, right? So for example, you know one programming language and you are becoming pro on that particular language, right? So something like that, okay? Yeah. And also the de-skilling happen when you are overloaded with some other task, right? Sometimes I really do love doing a research. There are so many pending work that I have stopped in the middle, but because of my other, I'm spending a lot of time on my lectures, right? So that I have very limited time to do something that I really enjoy, right? So that's happened. Even everyone is experiencing those kind of things. So aware on this, so as not as a organization practice, I'm just telling as individuals, be aware on this de-skilling. Even for yourself, unintentionally, it may happen, right? De-skilling, right? Okay, right. So that's it. And then we have completed our second section as well. Now we are moving to our third one, learning strategy design. Okay, learning strategy design. Right, learning strategy design. Right, as I did in the very beginning of the first session, when you are doing any HRM function, whether it's a performance management, whether it's a recruitment and selection, whether it's learning and development, we start with looking at the business strategy. We call it strategic alignment. Strategic alignment. Right? Strategic alignment. Okay? Strategic alignment. So we have to look at the business strategy, right? And then we have to convert it to the HR strategy. And from the HR strategy, we have to derive our learning and development strategy, right? For example, I will copy this, right? Right. For example, let's assume that if you take, let's say, Spa-Salon, right? Spa-Salon. What a gill experience I can, right? Right. So their business strategy is beauty experience. They are giving a experience of beauty products. Experience ගන්න. ඒගොල්ලෝ කියන්නේ ඔයගොල්ලෝ බඩු ගන්න එන්න එපා අපේ කම්පැනියට. right අපේ outlet එකට ඔයගොල්ලන් මේ අපේ බඩු ගන්න එන්න එපා. ඇවිල්ලා අපිව experience කරන්න. ඒගොල්ලෝ තමයි ඒගොල්ලෝ strategy එක. ඒක ලස්සනට අහලා තියෙන්නේ. try එක ගොඩාක් තියෙන්නේ. ඒගොල්ලෝ strategy. Come and experience us. We are different. Right? And finally, it makes you to buy. Right? Nudging. එක කියන අපි nudging concept එක තියෙනවා. එන්න ඔයාලා අපිව experience කරන්න. experience කරාම ඔයාට nudge එකක් එනවා මේ බඩු ගන්න. Right? So that's a nice strategy. Right? හරි. Beauty experience එකක් තමයි යාළ දෙන්නේ. They don't sell products. They sell experience. For this, experience එකක් දෙන්න නම් හරි innovative workforce එකක් අපිට ඕන. Innovative workforce එකක් අපිට ඕන. Innovative workforce එකක් ගන්න නම් අපේ learning strategy එක right creativity එක වැඩි කරන්න. Creativity strategies වැඩි කරන්න. Right? Creativity fostering. Learning strategy එක focus has to be fostering the individual creativity, right? Fostering the individual creativity. Individual creativity. So you get it? Right. So I'll tell you another example. Right. I'll tell you another example. Right. So now, one of the automotive company එක වාහන විකුණන ඉන්දියා. දැන් වාහන විකුණන්න බෑ. වාහන නැහැ. import කරන්න දෙන්නේ නැහැ. import restrictions. ඒගොල්ලෝ business strategy එක මාරු කරා to be service oriented. Service oriented. දැන් vehicle services දෙනවා. ඒකට HR strategy එකේ අපිට ඕන technically competent workforce එක. Technically competent workforce එක. But මෙතන should foster technical competencies. Technical competencies. Then ඔයගොල්ලන්ට පේනවා මේවා align වෙලා යනවා කියලා. Business strategy එකයි HR strategy එකයි L&D strategy එකයි align. So that is the first step in doing the learning strategy design. Right. Is it clear? Shani, is it clear? Prarthana? Strategic alignment, is it clear?
Yes, ma'am. You get the example. What's the company, ma'am?
So which one? Is this Spa-Salon? Is this?
No, other one.
This is an automotive company in Sri Lanka.
Okay.
Vehicle company.
Okay, ma'am.
Right. So that's the first step. And now we are moving to more specific learning strategy design steps. Right? More specific learning strategy design steps. Right? More specific steps. Hari. මේක තමයි process එක. right? මේ steps ටික තමයි තියෙන්නේ. strategy design. හරි. කීයක් තියෙනවද කියලා මට කියන්න. ගණන් කරලා කීයක් තියෙනවද කියලා මේ steps?
Seven, ma'am.
7. There are 7. And yes, there are 7 steps. This is called 7-step model of learning and development. Right? Thank you, Amali. හරි. මේක මම අනිවාර්යයෙන්ම ඔයගොල්ලන්ගේ exam එකේ test කරනවා. right? මේක අනිවාර්යයෙන්ම ඔයගොල්ලන්ට question එක එන්නමයි. හරිද? මේක මගේ pet area එකක්. හරි. මේකදී මම test කරන්නේ මෙන්න මේක. මේ හතක් තිබුණාට මම මෙන්න මේවා highlight කරගන්න. මේකෙන් අනිවාර්යයෙන්ම මම question එකක් දෙනවා. මොකෙන්ද? පළවෙනි step එක. Learning need assessment. Conducting a need assessment. And learning methods. And measuring the effectiveness of learning programs. Right? මේ තුන very important. මේ තුන අනිවාර්යයෙන්ම exam එකට එනවා. හරි? Out of these 7 steps. Right? Out of these 7 steps. Right? දැන් අපි මේ these 3 selected steps will be thoroughly discussed. Other steps just discussed. And we are now doing the 7-step model of learning strategy design. Right? 7-step model of learning strategy design. Okay. Right. So we'll start the first one. Learning need assessment. මොකද්ද පුතේ need එකක් කියන්නේ? need එකක් කියන්නේ අපි හැමෝටම needs තියෙනවා. මොකද need?
Basic requirement.
හරි. basic requirement.
Requirement in order to survive.
Basic requirement. Already
In order to survive.
in order to survive. In order to survive. Right. මේක basic requirement එකක් need එකක් කියන්නේ. පුතේ මේක මතක තියාගන්න. හරි මේක මතක තියාගන්න මේක දන්නේ නැත්නම් මේක ඉගෙන ගන්න දැන්. need එකක් කියන්නේ gap එකක්. මතක තියාගන්න. need එකක් කියන්නේ gap එකක්. right. gap එකක් කියන්නේ problem එකක්. problem එකක් කියන්නේ discrepancy between the expectation and the actual. මට ලක්ෂ 10ක් ඕන දැන් තව සතියකින්. මගේ අතේ තියෙන ලක්ෂ 5යි. gap එක. මට ඕනේ ලක්ෂ 10ක් expectation. මගේ අතේ තියෙන ලක්ෂ 5යි. actual. මට ලක්ෂ 5ක gap එකක් තියෙනවා. problem එකක්. need එකක් වෙනවා. මට ලක්ෂ 5ක් ඕන අවශ්‍යතාවයක් එනවා. මම පාවිච්චි කරන්නේ Toyota කාර් එකක්. මට ඕන ඊට වඩා නිකන් පොඩි ඊට වඩා පොඩයි ඉහළින් තියෙන බ්‍රෑන්ඩ් එකකට යන්න. Problem is the expectation of the brand. need එක. මට අලුතෙන් වාහනයක් ගන්න ඕන. මගේ ගෙදර ලොකු මදි. මට කොච්චර ඇඳුම් තිබ්බත් අඳින්න ඇඳුමක් නැහැ. ඒ වගේ. Right? So that you understand. So whenever whatever the position you are in, right? මේ දුප්පත් පොහොසත් කියලා ගන්න නැහැ එතන. Right? So need. Expectation gap. අපි need එකක් කියලා. මේක problem එකක්. හරි? So then in the learning need analysis, මේක අපි abbreviation එකකට කියන LNA, learning need analysis. LNA මේ famous abbreviation එක. මතක තියාගන්න. LNA. Right? මේකදී in when we are doing learning need analysis, we are looking at a gap. We are looking at a gap. Right? For example, customer complaints. Customer complaints. Hmm. So you expect 0 customer complaint. Right? So how many complaints you are getting? So likewise. Right? So that example. Right? So the learning gap is identified through the gap analysis. Gap analysis. Right? Gap analysis එකක් කියන්නේ මෙන්න මේ වගේ එකක්. What is your expectation? What is your actual? What is your learning gap? Right? What is your learning gap? Right? So I'll give you a very simple example. Do this one. Right? Please do this one. Right. ටක් ගාලා කරන්න. Right. Okay. So I will not be able to do that great, but yes. So that what is the expected level? What is the expected level?
200 units, ma'am.
Okay, so the expectation is 200. Right. Expectation is 200. Currently, what is
150.
the actual?
Actually, is
150.
150, ma'am.
150. Make a ඔගොල්ලෝ numbers උත් ලියා ගන්න හොඳේ. numbers උත් දාගන්න 150. එතකොට මෙන්න මේකට අපි කියනවා learning gap එක කියලා. මේක තමයි learning gap. So we call this part a learning gap. ඔගොල්ලෝ label කරගන්න මට අමාරු පුතේ මේක ලියන්න. Learning gap එක. So this is the learning gap. Right? This is the learning. So this is the learning gap. Right? Okay. It's a learning gap. Right? හරි. දැන් තව exercise එකක් මම දෙනවා. තව එකක්. Right. Do this one. හරිද පුතේ? හරිද?
Yes,
Hmm?
ma'am.
Yeah. So what is the expectation?
Expectation is 0, ma'am.
Oh,
0 defects. You need to maintain 0 defects.
එහෙම කරොත් ඒක එන්න හදන්න බෑනේ අමාරුයිනේ.
100%?
100%.
Yes, 100%. 100%. Yeah, you turn it to quality පුතේ. 100% quality, yeah? දැන් තියෙන quality rate එක මොකද්ද පුතේ?
82.
82. හරි. ඒ විදිහට හදන්න. මේක ටිකක් logical විදිහට ගන්න. ඔව් මේ 100% ගහ මේක උඩටම එන්න ඕන 100%. මෙතන 100% quality කියලා දාන්න. ඊට පස්සේ මම හිතන්නේ මේක පොඩ්ඩක් 82 හින්දා තව පොඩ්ඩක් මේක ලං කරන්න ඕගොල්ලෝ. ඊට පස්සේ 82% the current quality කියලා ලියන්න. negative එකක් තිබ්බහම positive වලට convert කරන්න පුතේ. නැත්නම් මේක කරන්න අමාරුයි. Right? So this is හරි. learning. I will tell you another example. At absenteeism rate එක වගේ දුන්නොත් absenteeism also a sign of learning need නේ. So that absenteeism also you have to convert into attendance rate. Right? Attendance rate.
Positive. We have to convert into the positive.
Convert into positive. Then it's easy the analysis. Huh?
Thank you, ma'am.
Yeah. Right. So like we do a gap analysis first. So this is learning gap analysis. So anything you can convert, anything put customer service, even any behavioral, any qualitative teamwork, leadership, anything can be converted into this gap analysis. So right, for example, collaboration. So you expect 100% collaboration, but you have conflicts, you have disagreements and all, so that you're how much the collaboration is, right? So anything can be converted into gap analysis. So you can quantify, right? You can quantify not only these numbers, right? Not only percentages, even something qualitative aspects like leadership, teamwork, and then communication, interpersonal skills, those anything can be converted into a gap analysis, right? Okay. Now, after this gap analysis, we have to make sure whether this gap,
So,
whether
previous question gap is 82. No,
no 18
80. 82. We are in 82.
actual. Yeah, got it? Expected was 100%, actual was 82, so there is a 18% gap. Sorry, yeah, so that's it, right? You get it?
Yeah, ma'am. Yeah.
Okay, right.
Okay.
Right. Now this gap, right? Whether this gap is really a learning need. මේක learning need එකක්ද කියලා බලන්න ඕනේ. නැත්නම් මේක වෙන එකක්ද කියලා. නැත්නම් අපිට මේක training එකෙන් විසඳන්න පුළුවන් ප්‍රශ්නද නැත්නම් මේක වෙන ප්‍රශ්නයක්ද කියන එක. සමහර වෙලාවට process එකේ ප්‍රශ්නයක් වෙන්න පුළුවන්. Right. Training එකේ ප්‍රශ්නයක් training වලින් විසඳන්න බෑ මේ ප්‍රශ්නේ කියන එක. So we have to make sure whether it's a problem of training. So that therefore we need to conduct the level analysis, right? So whether the gap that we identify, for example, the defect rate, right? So the defect rate may be a problem in your material, right? So we need to determine whether the defect rate is caused by the quality of the material or it's a matter of learning of the staff members, right? We have to make sure that, right? We have to make sure that. For that purpose, we conduct the level analysis. අපි බලන්න ඕනේ හැම level එකකින්ම මේ gap එක මේක whether this is matter of learning කියන එක, right? There are three levels. Organizational level. Whether this gap is caused by common organizational problem. Samahara organizational problem. දැන් ඔයාලා දන්නවා මෙලං common organization problem. අපි කියන්නේ එතන ඒ company එකේ නම් එහෙම තමයි වගේ. Whether this is an organizational problem. For example, delay in process. Yeah, delay in process. Huh? Delay in process. ඉතින් මේ company එකේ ප්‍රශ්නයක්, culture එකේ ප්‍රශ්නයක්, structure එකේ ප්‍රශ්නයක්. Structure එකේ ප්‍රශ්නයක්. train කරලා හරියන්නේ මේකේ structure එක මාරු කරන්න. ඒ වගේ. ඒක organizational common weaknesses we address. So we look at the job or process level. මේ ප්‍රශ්නේ තියෙන්නේ production process එකේද, procedure එකේද, job එකේද? The defects are taking place. The defects are taking place at 2 points. I'm just assuming points in the assembly line. In the assembly line, defects are taking place only 2 points in the assembly line due to machinery failure. Machinery failure. Maybe not going to be done due to a machinery failure, right? Nothing when due to poor skills. Poor skill machinery. If it is a poor skill, it's a matter of learning. So we are doing these 3 levels of analysis to make sure it's a matter of learning, right? And then we do individual level analysis. Whether individual ability is adequate. Whether the individual's ability is adequate to process the requirement. Right? Whether the individual's ability is adequate to process the requirements. Right? If it is not adequate, so we identify it as an individual learning needs. If it is a process problem, it's a process learning need. Right? If it is an organizational wide need, it's an organizational level learning need. For example, turnover rate is high. Right? High labor turnover rate. High LTO. Organization right? So that's a organizational problem. Right? So likewise, we look at what is the level of the learning need. It may be relevant to one level. Oh, combination. Or all 3. Sometimes all 3 වල තියෙනවා. ඒක බලන්න ඕන මේවා තියෙන කොහෙද. So that will tell us the identified performance gap. The identified performance gap can be filled with the learning initiative, right? So we do these 3 levels of analysis to make sure that the gap we identified can be accommodated with the learning initiative, right? With the learning initiatives, right? So that's done. And I have given some of the 3 levels here, right? I have given the 3 levels here. You can read it. So what are the signs of learning needs in organization? What are the signs of learning needs in organization? What are the signs? Common signs? Customer complaints? Employee conflicts? Absenteeism? LTO?
High turnover rate.
LTO? Grievances? Underperformance? Defect rate? Misconduct?
Leaving jobs. Jobs.
Bhagya?
Leaving jobs.
Leaving LTO, right? Labor turnover. Is it? So that's, you are talking about leaving from the jobs, right? Employees are leaving, is it?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, that's labor turnover there. The labor turnover rate.
Accidents.
Amali?
Accidents.
Accident, yes. health and safety issues. Right. Customer complaint, conflicts, absenteeism, supervisor approval, supervisor observation, drop in sales, low efficiency, of course, low efficiency. Yeah, low efficiency, drop in sales. Right. So likewise, it can be many things. It can be anything. So once you identify these signs, we have to go for gap analysis. Once you've done the gap analysis, you have to go for level of analysis, right? So the order, I will repeat it. So you will first observe the sign of the sign or symptoms. Sign of symptoms you observe, and then from symptoms you go for gap analysis to identify the significance, and then from the gap analysis you move to level analysis. Level analysis to make sure it's a matter of learning, right? So that is the learning need assessment, LNA, right? LNA. Okay. Right. Now I'll tell you one example. Right. So if you look at this one, right? If you look at this one. මේ අපි මම ඔස්ට්‍රේලියාවේ ඉන්නකොට මේ අපි කන්සල්ටන්සි ප්‍රොජෙක්ට් එකක් කරා. පොඩි කන්සල්ටන්සි එකක්. right? මේ NRMA කියලා තිබ්බා මිනියන් සර්විසස් කරන vehicle services ඒගොල්ලෝ කරන්නේ. So they do NRMA, they provide auto services. Yes, you know, but ඒගොල්ලෝ ඉස්සර manually they fix the tires in the cars. When you want to fix new tires, the technicians are doing it manually. හරිද? ඒක අමාරු වැඩක්. ඒක ගලවලා මොනවාද නට් ගලවලා මැෂින් වලින් තමයි ගලවන්නේ. But it takes time. It takes time. Right? So that to ease in the process, they have brought a new tire machine. How is the tire fixing machine? Then again, process dala. Now the technicians are using the tire fixing machine instead of manual tire fixing. You know what happened? When they are using this machine, right? Lot of tires got damaged during the process. During the fixing process, lot of tires got damaged. And then tires are expensive. Australia are very expensive tires. Don't make tire එක customer අලුත් tire එකක් දෙන්න වෙනවා. Then make a double cost. Cost is really high there. බෑ මේක කරන්න. ඊපස්සේ අපි ගියා අපේ යුනිවර්සිටි එකේ UNSW එකෙන් පොඩි කන්සල්ටන්සි එකක්. ඒක දැන් මොකද කියලා බලන්න. හරි? ඊට පස්සේ අපි ඒක තමයි ඒකේ ගැප් ඇනලිසිස් එක තමයි මුලින්ම කරේ. හරි. ටයර්ස් කීයක් දැම්මද? දාපු ටයර්ස් වලින් කීයක් ඩැමේජ් වුණාද? දැන් මෙතන 2 weeks මේ මැෂින් එක තිබිලා තියෙනවා. 2 weeks වල අපි දවස් 10ෙම මේ ගැප් ඇනලිසිස් එක කරා. ඒගොල්ලෝ 0 ඩිෆෙක්ට් නේ. දැන් යාලට ඕන 0 damages. හරි 0 damages තමයි ඕන. හැමදේම ලොකු ඩැමේජ් එකක් තිබුණා. හරි. ඊට අපි ගියා දැන් ඊට පස්සේ ගැප් ඇනලිසිස් එක කරලා මේ ලෙවල් ඇනලිසිස් එකට ගියා. ඊට පස්සේ අපි දැක්කා in the tire fixing machine, right? In the tire fixing machine, the instruction manual, right? Instruction manual, the order that the technicians are following, right? So it's not correct, right? Not correct. Now the manual says some steps, but they have mixed it up, right? So that's there is a high chance of getting it damaged, right? So that we in the process level, we recommend there is a procedural training is required. The technicians are not aware on the right procedures right sequence of procedures to follow. right sequence of procedures to follow. So that's process level. හරිද? පස්සේ අපි technicians level බැලුවා. individual level එකේ. ඒකෙදි දැක්ක ඒගොල්ලෝ බයයි. fear එකක් තියෙනවා. දැන් මේක damage වෙන නිසා ඒගොල්ලෝ බයයි. confident නැහැ. So we recommend to confident build up that's on the job coaching session. That's coaching session for these technicians as well. Right? So that's a real life experience of conducting learning in the assessment. Right? So we need to identify the true needs. Now, but most of the organization, what happened with the training strategies, they don't identify the learning needs properly. They go ahead with the presumed needs. They don't really look at what the actual needs are. What do really employees need? What do really processors need? So they don't really look at it. So this first step is very important. You have to get your first step right in order to get the other steps correct, right? So therefore, learning need assessment is critical, right? හරි. දැන් අපි ඒක ඉවරයි. අපි යනවා දැන් දෙවෙනි එකට readiness of learning. දැන් හිතන්න මේක very important නා. Learners are ready ද නැද්ද? දැන් මේක ඔයාලගේ අන්තිම lecture එක. මම ආස නැහැ මේක මේ වෙලාවේ කරන්න. ඔයාලා දැන් ඊයේ උදේ ඉඳන් ඊයේ දවසම දැන් අද දවසයි අන්තිම දැන් මේ පැය 9 ගානේ ඉගෙනගෙන ඔයගොල්ලෝ එපා වෙලා ඉන්නේ ඕවර්ලෝඩ් වෙලා ඉන්නේ. දැන් මම අද මොනවා කිව්වද ඔයාලට වැඩක් නැහැ කියලාත් මම දන්නවා. Right? So that's all learning. Learn. So that is actually learning environment. Readiness is whether you are ready to learn. Think about that I am learning beyond 6:15. Even I don't teach you after 5:30. මම දන්නවා එතන නෑ learning එක. ඔයගොල්ලෝ දැන් මේ කොයි වෙලාවෙද මේක ඉවර වෙන්නේ කියලා බලන් ඉන්නේ. Readiness matters a lot. Whether my participants are ready to learn. Whether they have condition to learn. Right. Whether they have motivation to learn, whether they are able to learn. Right. So the readiness is very important. Unless there's no readiness coming from the participant, there are no way of transferring. There are no way of transferring the knowledge. Right. Okay. So that learning environment is very critical. I don't see any faces here. Right. මේ මට දන්නවා දැන් කුෂානි ඉන්නවා, භාග්‍යා ඉන්නවා, අමාලි ඉන්නවා. මම දන්නවා මේගොල්ලෝ ඉන්නවා. හැබැයි මට ඔයගොල්ලෝ මුණ පේන්නේ නැහැ. මම දැන් ওই මූණු ටික දැක්කම මට පේනවා දැන් මෙයාලා මහන්සි. දැන් මම මේ කියන දේවල් ඔයාලට තේරෙන්නේ නැහැ. So that I will look at your facial expressions, right? And then I will make sense of you all and I may adjust. එයිද මට පේන්නේ නැහැ නේ ඔයගොල්ලෝ. මොනවා කරනවද දැන් කට්ටිය නිදි දැන් සමහර අය. මම දන්නවනේ online lectures කරන විදිහ. නැත්නම් Facebook එකේ උඩ පල්ලෙහාට යනවා ඇති. Right? So that I am aware. So the learning environment matters a lot, whether it's a facilitative, engaging, active learning environment. But we will try our best. We will try our best. Learning environment. Right? And then the next step, transfer of learning. Right? Now, Pute, in the learning process, the things that I'm going to tell you has to be come to you. මේක අපි දෙන්නක ප්‍රශ්නයක් මේක උනේ නැත්තම්. මම හරියට ඩිලිවර් කරන්න දන්නෙත් නැහැ. ඕගොල්ලන් හරියට ග්‍රැබ් කරන්න දන්නෙත් නැහැ. ඒතර ඔයාලා මේක ඔයාලට මේ ට්‍රාන්ස්ෆර් එක නැත්තම්, ලර්නින් ට්‍රාන්ස්ෆර් එක නැත්තම් ඔයාලා විතරක් වැරදි නෑ. මාත් වැරදි. Right? So we both parties should responsible in transferring the learning. Right? For example, let's say like this. I told you what is the difference between training and development. Right? I use a table, I use examples to differentiate between training and development. If this concept has not been transferred to you, the learning transfer has not been taken place. Right? If I ask you a question, how do you differentiate between training and development? I'm not going to ask. Right? If you can tell, training is for current job holders, development is for future job holders, training it focuses on Performance problems. Development is focusing on developing potential. So that's 100% transfer. 100% transfer. How much that I'm trying to give has been taken by the participants, right? So we have to make sure there is a big percentage has been gone, right? Okay, so we come to the next one, learning methods. So this will be also tested, right? There are various learning methods. We can divide these learning methods into two categories. The one category of learning methods is experiential learning and informational learning. Learning methods. හරි. ඔකට පුතේ මේ information කියන්නේ හරි simple. Documented knowledge. පොතක් කියවලා පොත්වල තියෙන මේ written format can clearly explain. මේක explain කරන්න හරි ලේසි. මේකට අපි කියන explicit knowledge කියලා.
Ma'am, what is the fourth one? It is there are 7 process: conducting needs assessment, and the second one readiness for learning, third one create learning environment, fourth one is transfer of learning, fifth one
developing evaluation plan. I will do this one here by combining these two, right?
All right, okay, ma'am. Okay, sorry.
Right, so explicit knowledge. මේ පොත්වල තියෙන මේ පොතක් කියවලා ගන්න පුළුවන්. මේ වෙබර් පොතක්. right? මේ පොතේ තියෙන පොතේ මේ පොතට ලියන්න පුළුවන්. මේකේ දැනුම තියෙනවා මට කියවලා ගන්න පුළුවන්. මේ දැනුම දැන් පොතේ ලියලා තියෙනකොට මට මේක පොත කියවලා මේ දැනුම ගන්න පුළුවන්. හරිද? මේ එක විදිහේ knowledge එකක්. ඒකට අපි කියනවා explicit knowledge. මේක express කරන්න පුළුවන් so that you can tell it. හරි? අපි informational learning methods. මේ වගේ lecture එකක් හොඳයි ඒකට. මාත් කරන්නේ ගොඩක් informational, right? Information දෙනවා. මේක මෙහෙමයි කියලා කියනවා. 50%. හරි. ඊට පස්සේ experiential කියන්නේ tacit knowledge එක. Tacit knowledge. ඒකනේ මම සමහර වෙලාවට stories කියන්නේ පොතේ. and development කියනකොට ඔයාලට අමතක වෙන්න බෑ කස්තුරිගේ story එක. McDonald's story එක. So I'm telling you the stories to remember because sometimes certain concepts I cannot express. Right? The words are not coming. So that I use a story to give you the meaning of it. Right? Tacit knowledge. Right? It's intangible. Cannot be expressed. Express කරන්න බෑ මේක. Cannot be expressed. You have to learn by yourself through observation. Observation. Or learn by doing. ඒක කරලම තමයි ඉගෙන ගන්න ඕනේ. Self learn. මේ කාටවත් උගන්වන්න බෑ. කියලා දෙන්න බෑ. කටින් කියන්න බෑ. හිතන්නකෝ පුතේ. Technician කෙනෙක්. අවුරුදු 25ක් වැඩ කරාම එන්ජින් එකේ සවුන්ඩ් එකෙන් කියන්න බලන්න මොකද්ද මේ වාහනේ තියෙන ප්‍රශ්නේ කියලා. ඕක ගන්න අවුරුදු 20ක් වැඩ කරන්න. අපිට කියන්න පුළුවන්. මම මේ PhD එකක් කරලත් කියන්න පුළුවන්. මට බෑ. මොකද මම දන්නේ නැහැ. So that's expertise පුතේ. ඔයාලට එක දවසින් ඒක කියන්න බෑ. So even the basunhe cannot tell the technician when you hear this sound, this is the problem. You cannot tell it. අර intuitive knowledge එකක් එන්නේ. අර අපේ අම්මා හදන මං පරිප්පු වගේ අම්මා හදන ඒක ඒ විදිහටම මම replicate කරත් මට ඒ රස ගන්න බෑනේ. that tacit knowledge. අම්මගෙන් අහන් එනවා කොහොමද ඔයා මේ පරිප්පු එක හදන්නේ? මං ඒ ටික ඒ විදිහටම follow කරනවා. අම්මා ළඟ තියාගෙනත් හදනවා සමහර වෙලාවට. ඒත් මට ඒ රස ගන්න බෑ. There are certain things my mother cannot tell, cannot convert into words. So that I have to do with her couple of times, and then I have to do it maybe 100, 200 times, and then I may come to that level. I may come to that level. Right? I may come to that level. Right? That is tacit knowledge. Right? You have to learn by doing observation. Okay, so that's. And the second category is on-the-job learning methods and off-the-job learning methods. Off-the-job learning methods. Right? On the job and off the job. On the job means while you're doing the job. Right? Maybe management training, internship, maybe coaching, mentoring, case studies, special assignments, foreign tours, foreign assignments. So likewise, there are a lot of on-the-job training, probationary training, likewise. Off-the-job training, like education qualification like this, educational courses. MBS is educational course. Seminar, lecture, workshop, outbound training, OBT. Right. So likewise, off-job training. So you have to choose based on your requirement. You have to choose whether you are going it on the job, whether you are going it off the job based on your requirement of the learning need, nature of the learning need that you are going to satisfy. Okay. Right. So now this is to avoid your.
And these are learning methods. Are කලින් කියපු ටික learning methods, the on-the-job learning and off-job learning.
Yeah, the two methods.
හතරක් තියෙනවා නේද?
මෙතනද? තව ඕනතරම් තියෙනවා පුතේ. Professional courses, lectures, seminars, workshops.
කලින් එක experiential learning එක.
ඒක නෑ මම ඒක කිව්වේ නෑ. This is similar to on the job. This is similar to on the job. Right? Making the observation learning by doing.
මෙතන 2 categories නේද තියෙනවා කිව්වේ. එතකොට අර දෙකක් එක්ක.
Right. පොඩ්ඩක් ඉන්නකෝ. මේ 2 categories තියෙනවා. පළවෙනි category එක තමයි the first category එක තමයි informational versus experiential කියන්නේ. හරිද මේක? හරිද? මේක තමයි දෙවෙනි category එක. මේක ඇවිල්ලා on the job versus off the job. Got it?
Okay.
Right? So 2 categories and 4 groups. හරිනේ? හරි. දැන් මට කියන්න මේ methods ටික ටක් ගාලා මට කියන්න. මොනවාද මේවා කියලා? මේ පළවෙනි එක මොකද්ද පුතේ? පළවෙනි එක?
Self study.
Self study. Very good. මේක?
Teamwork. Study.
Role play පුතේ. Role play. Role playing, role playing. මේක?
Getting information from
Virtual learning. Online learning. මේක?
Hands-on experience.
Mentoring, coaching, ඕන එකක්
mentoring.
mentoring. මේක? Seminar, workshop.
Seminar, workshop.
Right. මේක? අන්තිම එක? Yeah. බෑ experience කියන්න බෑ. ඒක හරි නමක් තියෙනවා. මට හරිම නම ඕන. කොහොමද කාපෙන්ටර්ස්ලා ඉගෙන ගන්න? කොහොමද බිල්ඩර්ස්ලා ඉගෙන ගන්න? කොහොමද ටෙක්නීෂියන්ස්ලා ඉගෙන ගන්න? කොහොමද ඔඩිටර්ස්ලා ඉගෙන ගන්න?
practicing.
බෑ බෑ. ඒකත් බෑ. හරිම නම කියන්න.
Hands-on experience.
Hands on
Understudy.
understudy වෙන්න පුළුවන්. හැබැයි ඒක නෙමෙයි හරි නම.
Learn
Understudy
by
අය-
learn by doing.
no starting with letter A. A. එක වචනයයි මේකේ තියෙන්නේ. මේගොල්ලන්ට කියනවා වෙනම නමක්.
Apprentice.
Apprentice. සුපුනී yes. Apprentice training. Apprentice. ඒකනේ මේ බාසුන් නැහැ කියලා බලන්න බිල්ඩර්ස්ලා කාපෙන්ටර්ස්ලා වඩු බාස් එක්ක ගෝලයෙක් එනවනේ. ගෝලයා එහෙම තමයි ඉගෙන ගන්න. වඩු බාසුනයිට කියන්න බෑ. මෙහෙමයි මේක කපන්නේ ඉරන්නේ මොනවද ඒව කරන්න කියන්න බෑ. බලලා කරලා ඉගෙන ගන්නවා. ගෝලයා හදපු එකක් අපිට හොඳට හොයාගන්න පුළුවන් නේ. හ්ම්.
නෑ
Learning
ඒකට on the job training කියන්න පුළුවන්ද? ඒ කියන්නේ
නෑ
job
ඒක කියන්නේ බ්‍රෝඩ් කැටගරි එකක් පොතේ on the job training එකේ එක මෙතඩ් එකක් තමයි apprentice on the job training කියන්නේ ලොකු බ්‍රෝඩ් කැටගරි එකක් ඒ under that category you have lots of methods now මේකත් on the job training නේ එන්න you get it Kushani
yes ma'am.
yes okay right okay හරි අපි දැන් ඒකත් ඉවරයි දැන් අපි යනවා අන්තිම එකට අන්තිම සයිඩ් මම තව විනාඩි 5යි ගන්න. ඔයගොල්ලෝ ඉන්න මාත් මම ඕවර් ලර්නින් කරන්නේ right හරි දැන් අපි අන්තිම ස්ටෙප් එකට එනවා learning evaluation and monitoring right now පුතේ ඕන දෙයක් whatever the things that we are doing in organization we have to make sure it is effective measurement එකක් ඕන evaluation එකක් ඕන likewise when we are going ahead with sure that our learning is effective, right? We have done a impactful impact, right? Impactful impact is there, right? So therefore, we have to make sure that we are assessing the effectiveness, right? For example, if our learning is properly done, right? If our learning is properly done, this gap should be disappeared. මේ gap එකක් මෙහෙම තියෙන්න බෑ. මේක දැන් තියෙන්න බෑ. The gap has to be filled. That is the basic thing. Right? So therefore, in the evaluation of learning effectiveness, we are checking to what extent this gap is being addressed. Right? To what extent this gap is being addressed and whether the gap is still there, whether the gap is filled with, to what extent. Right? To do that, to make sure that the gap is being filled, there's a particular evaluation method available which we call Donald-Kirkpatrick model. Right? We have this Kirkpatrick model of learning evaluation. Right? Under this model, the learning evaluation is taking place under 4 categories, right? Donald Kirkpatrick is telling we have to check these 4 levels to make sure the learning gap is being addressed. හරිද? පළවෙනි එක හරි ලේසි. feedback ගන්න අපි. අර ගේගම food හොඳයිද, venue එක හොඳයිද, resource person හොඳයිද, content එක හොඳයිද, presentation එක හොඳයිද, atmosphere හොඳයිද, එහෙම කියලා අර immediate reaction whether you like it or whether you don't like it, right? So reaction එක මොකද්ද? positive reaction එකද negative reaction එකද කියලා අපි immediate reaction එකෙන් බලනවා. කෑම හොඳයි තමයි හැමදාම හොඳ නැහැ කියලා තමයි අපිට හම්බෙන්නේ. Right? So when you about resource person, so immediate reaction එක අපි බලනවා. So that's reaction level. So next, the learning level. Right? Learning level එකේදී අපි බලන්නේ මට conceptual understanding එක තියෙනවා. Theoretical understanding එක තියෙනවා. For example, දැන් මම අහුවත් question එකක් මම කලින් කිව්වා වගේ. So how do you define learning? Right? Learning definition. ඇයි අපිට learning ඕන? Why do we learning? And if you can tell, that is to have the competitive advantage. So that's learning has been taken. The transfer. Right? Conceptual transfer. Learning level, we are looking conceptual transfer. Right? අපි මේක අර NRM එකේ මම කිව්වා ඔස්ට්‍රේලියාවේ අපි කරපු consultancy project එකේ අපි ටෙස්ට් එකක් දුන්නා ඒගොල්ලෝ හරියටම කියන්න අර මැනුවල් එකේ තියෙන process ටික මැනුවල් එකේ තියෙන steps ටික පුළුවන් ද බලන්න අපි ටෙස්ට් එකක් දුන්නා pre-test post-test learn. Right? එතකොට ඒගොල්ලෝ දන්නවා හරි මේක තමයි මුලින් කරන්නේ ඊළඟට මේක ඊළඟට sequence is tested. Sequence is tested. So they know the theoretical knowledge. Right? Then behavioral level. Right? The third level is behavioral level. Whether there's a change in behavior. In our NRMA case, we checked whether the particular technician is having an adequate attention on the sequence, right? Whether the attention is there to ensure the damages will not take place. So that you are following the sequence. Attention to detail. අපි බැලුවා මේගොල්ලෝ දැන් attention to detail තියනවාද කියලා. දැන් උදාහරණයක් විදිහට ට්‍රේනින්ග් එකක් දෙනවා මේ මං ඉන්නවා දැන් දෙනවා මයුරි ඉන්නවා හැමදාම ඩිලේ. කවදාවත් ඩෙඩ්ලයින් එක මීට් කරන්නේ නැහැ. කවදාවත් ඩෙඩ්ලයින් එක මීට් කරන්නේ නැහැ. So the company is giving me how to meet your work deadlines. මම දාන ට්‍රේනින්ග් එකට මට ඩෙඩ්ලයින් මීට් කරන ටයිම් මැනේජ්මන්ට් කරන ටෙක්නික්ස් ටික ඉගෙනගෙන එන්න කියලා. හරිද? ට්‍රේනින්ග් එකෙන් පස්සේ නියමයට දැන් මම ගාව තියෙනවා things to do list එකක් තියෙනවා. priority order එකක් තියෙනවා. මංගාව urgent activities මොනවාද important activities මොනවාද not urgent activities මොනවාද කියලා මම ඒවා categorize කරලා මගේ time එක manage කරනවා. So see my behavioral change. හැමදාම මම prioritize කරලා තියෙන මගේ tab so that I will not miss any deadlines. Right? Prioritize කරලා. So behavioral change. උදේම එනවා වැඩට එනවා උදේම. office එනවා උදේම. Right? Behavioral change. It was say the last level results, impact, result. Whether I'm missing any deadlines later. Result. Right? Now, whether Myri is going to miss any deadline after the training program. Right? So NRMA case, whether the technician is going to damage the tires again after the training program. Right? So like defect rate. So whether the employees are going to continue with the same defect rate results, right? So that is the outcome, right? So that I have given it in different way. So reaction is whether you like it, the basic level of assessment. Learning is whether the learning transfer is taking place, the conceptual understanding, the theoretical knowledge. 3 is the behavioral one, whether there is a change in behavior, right? The third is results, whether the KPIs are met, whether the KPIs are met, right? Yes, these are the things, the 7-step model. So I don't do the development, so that's enough. So yes, so we have now done the 7 steps, right? So with that assessment, monitoring learning evaluation so that you can make sure the entire process is completed under those 4 levels, right? So that's it. Right. Do you have